All they did, in a sense, was tell me what it was they were planning to do. They had this space. As I told you, driving on the freeway the first time there, I looked up and this space was the actual fall line of the mountain. And that told me half the stuff that had to be done from there. This thing had to go down and be the experience of going down that fall line, you know, and the kind of things that can take place along that trip. Obviously, the things like water or a stream or what become obvious possibilities. The second thing was to realize that the space was too small, given what the scale of the Getty and the scale and the power of the architecture there. Experientially, it was somewhat it still is to someone. It can be overwhelming in a way. So the garden had a real big responsibility to relieve all the pressures that did to you. So one of the things about the garden is that it had to be, in a sense, a kind of set of experiences, a kind of trip that moves you from A to Z in a way. And you have, of course, architecture on one hand becomes A and a garden becomes Z. They're counter-intuitive and they're counter, in a sense, of the kind of experiences that you have when you're there. And they can be woven so they work as a nice counterpoint for each other, which is what I tried to do with the thing. I mean, as I say, first of all, it was too small, the site they had. So I had to convince them to make the site bigger. It had needed more space to accomplish what it needed to do. Richard Meier stayed with his original plan, which truncated actually the garden part of the garden. The part getting down to the plaza where he cut it off or where I extended it from was one kind of trip, but it was not a garden per se. So of course the very obvious thing is there is an interface there where you come down this path and now you're sort of at a landing point or a plaza, and I now want you to go further. I'm going to take you down. So I've got to give you a real event at that point, something that was worth the trip, that you come down and say, oh my, yeah, and intrigue you to take the next part of it. Of course, garden people they loved it. They're an audience, the best audience I've ever found in a way. They're so appreciative. They love you for doing it. They used to stand and clap when I would work there. They want to come up and hug you to thank you for doing it. Art world's not like the art world tends to want to bust your ass, you know. So that was a really nice experience.